Hi everybody, I'm the Viking of Warkings and you're listening to Pommesgabel, the podcast from powermetal.de.
Hell yeah. Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of hopefully your most favorite podcast, Pommesgabel. I have to mention that the following interview is in English. I'm Marcel and today I have a very special guest in my virtual room. Once upon a time, four mighty warriors met each other to bring back the metal to us, to keep the metal flame alive. And with his band, he will release his third record in the middle of August via Napalm Records. So thank you very much for coming down to earth, Viking from the mighty Warkings.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine actually. I have some, white wine and looks like we're going to have a good time.
Wonderful. So first of all, I will ask you some questions about the last years, and then we will talking about your new record, Revolution, I think.
Okay.
So Viking, some years ago, you met the other Warkings in Valhalla. What has happened in this meeting? With which main aim did you start the force of the four ancient kings, and what was the trigger to bring them together?
Yeah, you know, we're all ancient warriors and we all died on the battlefield during our time long centuries ago. And then, if you're in the afterlife, in the underworld, time doesn't count. So we all met at the doors of Valhalla. I mean, for me, it's Valhalla. You can name it whatever you want. For the Crusader, it's the paradise. For the Tribune, it's Elysium. And so on. So we met there, we didn't know each other, and, we only knew one thing, to fight. So we started fighting each other, but then we realized we are dead, and you can't kill someone who's dead. And so we stopped the fighting and started the drinking and the storytelling, and then we realized we have a lot of stories to tell. And, the All-Father, Odin, told us, you have to go back to Earth and tell everybody about the ancient tales. And the best way to do this is with heavy metal, because that's the best music. You can tell those stories.
That's a wonderful statement, and here you are.
Here we are. That's how it happened. It happened to be that Odin is a guitar player, so he showed guitar playing to the Crusader, and then, from there, everything started.
And you are the representative of the powerful Vikings. For you personally, what are the special things about the Viking era? What are the main characteristics of the fearless Vikings?
I would say axe and shield and a lot of mate. That's it. We were, because there's no more Vikings, I think we were fearsome warriors. We sailed our ships across the ocean to conquer the world, and that is what we do. So if you see a Viking, I think it's a long beard, an axe, a shield, and a growling voice.
You burst onto the battlefields in 2080, forging your music in a tradition of Powerwolf, Hammerfall, and Manowar. So Viking, what are the metal records you have listed in Valhalla?
There's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. But if you go from my perspective, one of my bands I really admire is, of course, Amon Amarth, because they really like in the Viking tradition, and then this is one of the bands I really like with the heavy guitars. And then, we have some of the, you call it traditional bands like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, which are like really, we listen to that often in Valhalla. And also Manowar, of course, four men in leather pants. That's a good joke in Valhalla. But the music is great. So, so this is also, you can say, an influence.
So if you ask me what is my favorite Amon Amarth record, I will mention With Odin on Our Side. It's perfect. So what is your favorite Amon Amarth record?
Okay, now you got me. I think it's the one after that. I think it's Surtur Rising. I think it's that one. Yeah. But for me, it started with Odin on Our Side. This is when I really think they made really good music. So I can listen to most of their songs. I just love it.
Let us talk about good music as well. Warkings.
Okay.
In the end of 2018, you released your very first record, Reborn. It's the first chapter of the Vikings history. So, what comes to your mind if you think about the first battle in Warkings history?
That was new to us all. We released a record. We just put the songs together in Valhalla, and we didn't know what to expect. We just wanted to put out our music and our stories, and then go out on the stages of the world and play. And so it was just, let's say, we started this and a little bit for fun to bring the music to the people and then see what happens. And then it really went well. We received a lot of good, reviews, and a lot of people really liked it. So that gave us a push, to go on. When we went on our first tour, we didn't know what to expect, from the audience. We didn't know, do they like us? What do they think if they see four ancient warriors on stage? But it really went awesome. It was really unbelievable. So yeah, that was like the starting point to go on.
And you go on with Revenge. Your second chapter was released in the last year. So we have a very powerful speed in creation new battle hymns for the humanity. From your point of view, Viking, what were the main musical differences between the first and the second Warkings record?
The first one, we never played live. Like I said, we didn't know what to expect, and how the people react on the songs. And then we played in 2019. We played 2 tours and a lot of festivals across Europe, and so we got a lot of reaction from fans and people. How they react to the music, and they were singing with us. So I think we took all that experience to the studio and tried to take that experience and just write better songs that you can play live, that you can sing along, that are powerful. So it's, I don't think it's a big difference between the record. I think it's just, it's just 1 or 2 steps further. Better written, well written. The songs, they fit better together and all that stuff. So actually, as a band, we got a lot of experience because we played together a lot.
And now we are looking forward to the third Warkings records. It's called Revolution. And my first question about the new Warkings anthems, how long did you work on the new metal anthems?
Like everybody knows, this pandemic shit happened, in the last, 1.5 years. And we just finished the recordings for Revenge when the whole thing started. And then, nobody knew what was coming and, what was happening. And then the record was released. I think it was in July last year. And then we weren't able to play. So, yeah, we had a lot of energy. We wanted to go out and play the songs. We were really like amped up to play this stuff. And then there was no possibility. So before we started fighting again, we thought, okay, let's just take this energy and write new songs. There was no plan to release another album that fast. It was just, okay, let's see. We have a lot of energy, let's write songs. And then it came together really fast, like in the, let's say the last half of 2020, we wrote all the songs for Revolution. Yeah, and then we called the label and said, we have another one coming. And they said, what?
So Napalm Record was very surprised.
Yeah, they were. But then they heard the songs and they said, yeah, that's cool. Let's do this. So let's say we wrote the songs until the end of last year and then started recording them in the beginning of this year.
Was it difficult for you as a band to work on Revolution in cause of the COVID-19 situation?
We are in Valhalla. Nobody cares about pandemic in Valhalla. And when we come down to Earth, there's this thing that, we are using at the moment called the internet. So it made some things difficult, but the songwriting wasn't that big a problem because, we can back and forth through the internet also, and that wasn't a big problem.
So isn't there any internet in Valhalla?
No, you don't need this. You just scream as loud as you can and everybody hears you. It's a big hall. It's a very big hall.
For me as a simple man, can you describe Valhalla from your point of view?
from my point of view. But I got my own little corner with my wooden table and my wooden bank, and where I can drink my meat and eat my meat and everything. But imagine it's a big hall with a wooden roof, with a lot of bonfires and a lot of where all the warriors gather, and it's a lot of shouting, sometimes fighting and drinking, and yeah.
Wonderful. So I'm looking forward for Valhalla.
You sure do.
Let us talk about Revolution. With which main aim did you started working on the new heavy metal anthems?
Like I said before, we had a lot of energy, and we thought like, okay, let's just take revenge and take again one step further, and then maybe try. We're playing power metal, so this is nothing new, to be honest. And there's, I think in music it's very difficult to create something completely new. And if you create something completely new, then it's mostly not listenable. so yeah, we have this genre power metal, and we just wanted to take it one step further, maybe a little bit more difference between the songs. And then we had to imagine how it is on the stage and so on. We had some stories to tell. We wanted to add some different influences. We had one song has a real Greek instrument in it, and that's the starting point, and then from there on we just see what happens.
So I think it fits perfectly together that you are listening to Pommesgabel, the podcast of Power Metal DE with Warkings.
Of course, that's the best website. That's our music. It's called Power Metal, so perfect.
Thank you very much. So, Revolution, your upcoming master plan, is it about revolutions in general or especially the French Revolution?
Let's say it's in between. Now let's get a little bit more serious. So if you look at what happened to the world in the last, 20 months, we got that feeling that like music, art, everything, like the culture side of life, it was like, okay, that's not necessary. You don't need this. We're not allowed to play concert. You weren't allowed to go to the movies, all that things, it was like, yeah, we don't need that. That's not necessary. That's okay. And on the other hand, imagine the last 20 months without music, without books, imagine sitting at home and you're not able to listen to your favorite band or read your favorite book. We thought it is important, it is important. And so we thought about, so it's time to call the people a little bit, let's start a revolution. Let's bring music and art back, tell the people it's important. That was the one side. And on the other side, we had some stories to tell about the Spartacus rebellion, and all that stuff. So it fit together, We also told some stories, not especially about revolution, but about people who said, I don't do what you say me, I don't do it I do it my way, And let's call it revolution.
Do you think that the possibility of an upcoming revolution is in course of the COVID-19 situation bigger than before?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I don't know. It looks like it's getting better now. It's like looks like we're facing the end of it. We can start playing concerts again, and you can go to movies again and all that stuff. But I think humans, there's a certain level, and if you push somebody over the line, then he will, fight back. And I think we were very close to that. We are all one step closer to a revolution than we were like 2 years ago.
Mm. I think it too. What comes to your mind if you think about revolutions in general, in history? What are the fascinating moments of revolution in general? What do you think?
The fascinating stuff is that, it's always two sides to every story, like often it's like they start with a good intention. With the Spartacus rebellion, he was a slave and a gladiator, he was forced to fight to death in Colosseum. And then he freed the slaves and he stood up for his rights and their rights, but it also comes with a lot of fighting, a lot of blood and death and war, and often at the end of the revolution you don't know why you started it. That's one thing that's very fascinating, to see that it often starts with a good intention and then it ends, and it ends like every war, and there's no winner in a war. We can tell you that because we died on the battlefield.
A few minutes ago, I had asked you for your most favorite Amon Amarth record. For example, when you think about a musical revolution, which events or records or moments were revolutionary for you personally in heavy metal music?
You have really good questions.
Thank you.
Like for you, it's back in the days. For us, it's just like a couple of years ago. I think, when Black Sabbath, brought the first record, that was like a revolution. There was nothing that heavy ever made before, or even go a little bit more back when Jimi Hendrix started to distort the guitars, started to playing the heavy riffs for that time. I think that was a revolution. Or think of the great Eddie Van Halen, who totally started the revolution, how to play the guitar, because nobody had done this before. And then there's often stuff, if you think about Nightwish, when they started, there was never a heavy metal band who had this opera singer. So when they started, it was totally underground. And now they're one of the biggest bands in the world. And then they started a big thing with the symphonic metal, or whatever you call it. So there's a lot of stuff you can tell, but maybe this is the points I think about the most.
When I look back, I have to say that Sankt Anger of Metallica was very revolutionary for me. Not for the sound, not for the songs, but I was 14 years old, and this was the first time I hear Metallica as a powerful and thrashy heavy metal band on Ride the Lightning, Massive Puppets, and Kill 'Em All. So Sankt Anger was the turning point for me in music, to hear the older ones, to hear thrash metal in general. And so here I am after 20 years. Yes, it's my passion. So Sankt Anger was very revolutionary for me.
For Metallica, it was also, they just put out an angry record, that didn't care about nothing, and this is like revolutionary, because I think that, that's a big band, and they just made this statement, we put our anger or whatever into a record, and we don't care about songs and sound, and especially what everybody says. So yeah, you can say that's revolutionary too. Yeah, of course.
I have a few more questions about the songs on Revolution. The first song is Spartacus, I want to mention. And you formed in Spartacus an alliance with the Dark Lord Chris Harms of Lord of the Lost.
Yes.
To tell about the heroic times of Spartacus. So, Viking, how did this collaboration come together?
First of all, we have a tribune, a Roman tribune in the band. He was a general back then, leading his own legion, and always, telling us how disciplined they were, and they were the best army, the best warriors, the best fighters in the world. And he was always telling us that. And then we have, when you're in Valhalla, we often met this Spartacus guy, and he was often getting into a fight with the tribune, telling him, yeah, but we kick your ass. And, and then he always forced us to say, hey, you're writing songs. You can tell my story. So he was like complaining that we didn't write a Spartacus song since we released our first record. So we thought, let's do this. And then we had the Lost Lord, the singer from Lord of the Lost. And, it happened to be that we were hanging around with him and have some drinks. And so we said, join us, because his voice is just phenomenal. He can, sing this deep melodic voice and also do the growls and all that stuff. And yeah. So he said yes, and then we, put together that song, and it's one of my favorites on the record.
And one of my favorites is Fight. I really like the idea behind Fight. You involved with Bella Ciao, a very emotional melody in this powerful anthem. I think this song was adopted as an anthem of the anti-fascist resistance by the Italian partisans during the Italian resistance in World War II. So what can you tell me about the origin and the meaning behind this combination with the main theme of the upcoming record?
First of all, we wanted, like I said before, we said, okay, let's start a revolution. I mean, it's easy to say and hard to do. and then, we're like, okay, we need to write ourselves our own song, our own little hymn about that melody of the song. This is around for centuries. Nobody knows who wrote the melody, but the most famous version is Bella Ciao, what, like you said before, the partisans used in World War II. And this is just like the most famous version of that melody. So we said, yeah, we love it, and we heard it a lot of times before. The Tribune always says that the Spartacus guys were singing it back in ancient Rome. Now, so yeah, we just loved the melody. And then we saw that there was already a song, especially in Italy, very important for a lot of people. And so we decided to like write our own tribute, our own, revolutionary hymn, and take this melody and transfer it to metal with our own lyrics and our own style.
I think the song Sparta is getting a second part on Revolution. So what was the reason for that? And are there any plans for a third Sparta part?
Yeah, first of all, you have a Spartan in the band who is like always telling, like, it's a little bit, like it's like four kings in a band and everybody's telling everybody that he is the best. But, like the Spartan especially is telling everybody like he is the best warrior, the best fighter, the best whatever in the world. He's second to none. And we had the song Sparta on the first record, and that song was about, the famous battle on the hot springs of the Thermopyles, where the Spartans fought against the armies of the Persian Empire. I mean, he's always telling everybody that there were only 300 men, and we said, yeah, we don't believe you, like it's maybe you were a little bit more, but he still says it was 300 Spartans, who fought against, I don't know, 1 million of warriors from all over the world. So we had this song, and then the Crusader had this Greek-sounding melody when we started writing songs, and he had this melody, and we met this real great guy, Ioannis, from a German band called Three State Corner, and we met him when we played concerts in 2019, and he plays this old Greek instrument, the bouzouki. We just invited him to the studio and say, yeah, try it, play this melody, make it, it sounds a little bit, it has this Greek vibe, and he played it and it sounded phenomenal. So we wrote a song about this, and then of course the Spartan was like, if you write this song, it has to be about Sparta. So yes, so we wrote this song about the Sparta and the way of the life of the Spartans, and then we just called it like Sparta Part 2. But I don't think there will be a Part 3 because now it's enough.
Okay. As it all, you have a song about the Viking era with Ragnar. I think it's your personal song on the record, and in which you honor Odin and the Viking leader Ragnar. So first of all, do you have a television in Valhalla?
So to speak, we can see what we wanted to see, But on the other hand, I know this. I know Ragnar, he's up there in Valhalla. He's a legendary Viking king, and let's say we had some parties together, and he was telling stories, and it was about time to write a song about him.
The reason for my question was the drama television series Vikings. So, what is your opinion about this?
It's always good if there's Vikings, on television or in the movies, and it's good that the people see something of us. Some stuff is just made up stuff that wasn't real back, but the things I saw from that thing on television, that it was pretty close to how it was back in the day,
In general, if you have to define your style on Revolution in 3 simple words, which ones would you choose?
You're out to have really good questions. I would say metal, then I would say melodic, and I would prefer the word raw. It's raw, yeah. Metal, melodic, and raw.
Wonderful. So it fits the style of music perfectly together. And if you are thinking about Revolution, how would you describe the musical evolution of Warkings from the beginning Reborn to the second chapter Revenge till Revolution?
Like I said before, we started with Reborn, and, we just put the songs, we went to the studio and we recorded the songs, and then it was like, okay, there it is. Let's see what happens. And then, that was a good starting point, and we played a lot of concerts. But let's say our intention always was to be like, we're playing power metal or we're playing metal, call it what you want. And for us, metal is based on guitars. And, the Crusader is a phenomenal guitar player. So we always wanted to put the guitars, up front. For us, metal is played with riffs. If you think about, bands like Black Sabbath or all that stuff. And we got that feeling that in the last years, if you look on newer power metal bands, that the guitars are like just one more instrument that's also, it's not the leading part in the music. That's not a bad thing, There's a lot of great bands out there, but we just, let's say, we just said, okay, let's be the hardest, the heaviest power metal band there is. Let's try this. Actually, our producer in the studio, he said that sentence. He said, you guys trying to be the heaviest power metal band. And I think with, like I said before, we try to be a little bit more raw, more direct, more in your face with Revolution from a musician point of view. And you can say that's the goal. We're still, or that's the way we want to go. We want to still, feature the guitars and be as heavy as possible. And then also don't forget that we play power metal. We have a great singer, and we want to have the melodies and the songs you can sing along.
With this sentence, you built a wonderful bridge for me, dear Viking. So in winter, you are on tour with your buddies from Feuerschwanz. What can fans expect from your upcoming shows?
We always try to put our style, the warriors, the king style on stage. And there will be banners and flags, and we have shields and fire on stage and all that stuff. We try to create this atmosphere that you're like in a battle, but we're not fighting with weapons, we're just fighting with music. And so this is kind of what you can expect on stage,
Can you also give me a little outlook what the upcoming Warkings records, the fourth one, could be about in the future?
No. No, because, there's still a lot of stories we wanted to tell, and there's still a lot of, stuff we want lyrical wise to put out there. But right now, we wrote two records like in I don't know, let's say 1.5 years. And at the moment, there's just not one note written, or there's not one idea for any new song. I think if I can give an outlook, then it will always be power metal. We won't start playing, I don't know, death metal or jazz or whatever. Yeah, and we always, like I said before, we wanted to evolve a little bit, and but the main goal is to write just good songs. But I think this is, if I have a good song, it doesn't matter if it's innovative or new or you've never heard it before. A good song is a good song, That's our goal. I hope we don't have to write another record next year.
And I think Revolution is full of good songs. So is there anything you want to mention about Revolution as well?
Like you said, for us, a very special song is Fight, because this is like our own, little, hymn about everything and the Warkings, and we adapted this old melody we had in this song. So this was like a little bit, also taking a risk, because some people say, yeah, you stole that memory. No, we didn't steal it. It was around like forever. We just made our own song. It's a tribute. This is for us very, very special. And then it's like, for us, the lyrical content changed a little bit on Revolution, because we have this 1 or 2 songs that are not about an ancient battle or a hero or something like that. It's more about, like Fight, or like We Are the Fire, about ourselves and our stuff. So this is, for us, that what stands out. And of course, sorry to but this is like, musician stuff, sound-wise. This is from all the 3 records, this is the one that is coming closest to what we have in our heads, from the sound and the production and all the instruments, how it sounds.
It's full of power and energy. So if I tell you my favorite bands are, for example, Amon Amarth, Storm Warrior, or a Gravedigger or something, what do you think is my favorite song on the new record? What is not mentioned till yet?
We talked about Ragnar and we talked about Fight and those, so maybe it's Kill for the King.
You are good.
Am I right?
You are right. Viking, thank you very much coming down to Earth from Valhalla and speaking with me, and to give us a little deeper view inside the Revolution, inside the third Warkings record. My last question, our general last question, is, what is your most favorite song at this time?
Then I have to say it's Stay With Me from In Flames. And it's a phenomenal song, where they also, I think they they try to make something different, that they've never done before, and it just sounds phenomenal. And if you listen to it in a dark room with a burning bonfire, it takes you everywhere you want to. So this is, at the moment, that's my favorite song.
If you ask me, before we were talking about Revolution and Valhalla, I will mention the Nightflight Orchestra with White Jeans, but now I have to say Storm Warrior with Valhalla.
Okay, of course. That's great.
So, Viking, thank you very much for being part of the mighty Pommesgabel history. I wish you all the best with the upcoming record and hope to see you on tour. Dear listeners and fans, thank you very much for your attention. And the Viking and I, we wish you all the best.
All the best. Thank you for having us. Bye.